Well, you can. You just need a trauma kit.
This,
That's true. That's true.
seriously, dude.
So some kind of disguise for him.
That's your fault.
We
Yeah,
ought to
no,
buy him a T-Rex suit.
All right. What I did is over the weekend, I put together the video that you will be seeing for the first time, if I could find it, of the shot where you guys walked me through hitting targets with a lot of babysitting.
And which one is this? This is your the pinky toe step at the White Buffalo, or actually for reals up on top of the hill?
Both, actually. Uh,
Okay.
actually, it's the whole weekend. If I could find, I have so much video footage of Ballistic Summit. It is ridiculous how much footage.
Well, that's kind of the point of going, right?
Yeah,
Content generation,
hmm
meet new
yeah,
friends.
yeah. There was a lot of there was a Ballistic Summit was a lot of fun, and it's just it's amazing how much stuff gets done in such a short amount of time at Ballistic Summit. And Tyler's first time at Summit, what'd you think, bro?
I liked it. That was different for me because you do SHOT Show and NRA, and you do these like big shows, and you get to have like isolated conversations with people sometimes, right? But you're in the mass of the show, so
Yeah,
it's like loud and it's annoying and whatever. But actually, like not only getting to talk about Pyramid Air and Air Force and kind of like the air gun space, but also getting to listen in a like quiet, comfortable environment to some of these other companies talk about their stuff was really different for me. Almost like a seminar style, but with more interactiveness
yeah,
to it. I really enjoyed it a lot, and obviously getting to be exposed to some writers and content creators right then and there is also a good thing because they get the hands on, right? And you can talk till you're blue in the face about air guns or whatever, right? Firearms, optics, like you could do it all. But until you actually get that hands on with something, that's when it all clicks, especially for air guns because they are kind of a lesser known little brother to firearms here in the States, right?
yeah.
So that opportunity and actually getting these writers behind the guns was a huge game changer in my opinion, and really made a big difference in terms of the questions you got before and the questions you got after they had the hands on. After shooting at 100 yards, they're like, whoa,
Well,
okay,
yeah.
yeah,
That's that's what it was. That's probably one of the funnest parts for me, other than our road trip.
it's just
Well, the summit, that's the advantages. We took all the best pieces of interactivity and put it together in one spot. Now you've developed relationships with those writers. You can pick up the phone and call Michael Bain, and he knows who you are, and he'll take your call.
Yeah.
It's
Well, maybe
kind of
not
a big
mine
deal. Oh, he'll take your call. He may not want to talk to you, but he'll take your call.
because we'll both get in trouble together.
Yes.
I
Yes. If
love
you've
that
listened
guy.
to the Deer Shooter podcast, we will be releasing the unedited version of Ballistic Summits. And you and
Oh,
Michael Bain talking is going to go just like you guys said
yeah.
that was
That's
amazing. By the way, I sat
it.
down when all that was going on, and I don't think I stopped laughing for like a good 15 minutes.
Mhm, mhm.
yeah, yeah,
Telling your wife's gonna hear that.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. And she's used to my train wrecks. She's very used to that poor lady. I love her to death. And she puts up with so much crap. I don't know how she doesn't kill me in my sleep. I really don't. I I really don't. I like we've discussed in the past. One day I'm going to wake up and my feet are going to touch plastic, and either I'm going to have to hop back up on the bed really quick, or you guys are going to be attending a funeral. And I cannot blame her.
I would have pictured
will go along something along these lines. We told him not to do that.
it.
That's pretty much it.
I would have pictured it more like that scene from Goodfellas when the Karen is on top of Henry Hill with the gun in his and he wakes up to the revolver in his face. I would think it would go more like that, but what do I know?
Yeah, that's fair. That is extremely fair. But I put together this video. Let's see.
Okay.
Let me open this thing up. Actually, let me put it on this screen so we can all watch it. Now, I apologize ahead of time. Actually, no, I don't.
We're used to watching you fumble. It's okay.
Share screen. There is a button for this, I'm pretty sure.
At the bottom.
Oh, there we go. Share screen. Now I get to pick which one. This one.
27,000 tabs. Yeah.
Dude, yeah, there's a lot of tabs. Am I sharing the right one?
Yep.
Yep.
That's a still photo.
No, it's a video.
Oh,
Yeah,
here we go.
We'll walk through it. Hopefully there's sound. No, this is the basic specs of the gun. Texan 308, it's a custom build. Because I did use a Shaw barrel 1 in 14 twist. There's a 3600 psi tank on there, 3625. The valve is stock. There is a heavy spring in it, but other than the barrel, the paint, and the actual tank itself, and the spring, everything else it's a 308 Texan.
And the barrel is actually the same twist as a factory Texan barrel, is it not?
Believe so. Is
Yeah.
it 1 in 14 or 1 in 16? I think they're 1 in 14.
Yeah. Okay.
It's just the only thing I wanted a threaded barrel. And because we're in the middle of production, it's kind of hard to stop down a machine to get a threaded barrel. So it was one of those things where it was easier to call and abuse Matt Shawless over at Shaw and torment him relentlessly, because that was just pure fun. As Jason knows, it is quite fun to torment Matt.
He's a good sport, though.
Dude, I love that guy. Dude, Tyler, I wish you would have met him. He does not wash shirts.
Oh.
No,
Like at
it's
all?
actually it's
Well, he's not the dirty kid either. He just buys a pack of new ones and throws you.
Oh, got it. Oh, wow. So
He-
he's a never wear the same thing twice guy.
Well, it looks like it, though. It's always just a white T-shirt.
Oh, okay. Well, everybody has their own thing.
the multi-pack of white t-shirts from Walmart.
Nice.
Dude, and he's always like perfectly pressed, crisp, clean, perfect white t-shirts. And he always has the nicest rag collection at his shop. It's epic.
Now, Ton, real quick before you move on here, there's two things. So tell the folks you were running at 3,600 for each shot, correct?
Yes, I was
not regulated.
I had bought a regulator. I had bought a regulator, but I couldn't figure out how to use it. So
sounds about right.
I had full intentions of running regulated, but I gave up on it really quickly when it was way more technical than I cared to figure out. So I skipped it and just topped off and refilled each time. I filled to to the red line, 36.25 each time.
Got it. And the other thing I wanted to call out, because this image shows it really well, is the compensating rail you have mounted on the Texan. Do you actually know what that is? Because I didn't see a brand on it or anything.
It was a prototype from Crawford and Lipped.
Okay.
I don't even know if they make it. It was, hey, try this.
But that's
pretty well.
Yeah. It's an additional 120 MOA in terms of what that has built in, drooped in the photo. You see it there, which
What's
is
your height over bore here on this setup too? Because that's really high.
It's got to be 5 inches, 4.5.
I don't know.
I see that in a lot of the ELR guys. Their rifles, they've got a height over bore in excess of 4 inches or more.
Yeah, it's you guys and your fancy number letters.
Well, it naturally pushes your zero, I guess, out further, I suppose, or
Yes.
your ability. And then when you add that MOA compensation in, I mean, I was surprised, like the number you threw out, Jason, for where the gun was probably zeroed at when it was maxed.
Yep.
In terms of the elevation in the scope plus the rail, I
Yep.
was way further than I expected.
Well, by the time you put all the travel in there, you had this gun zero about 1450.
Just crazy.
That's crosshairs, right? And then all the available in the reticle after outside that. So there was a bunch. I mean, a bunch.
Yeah, I'm really bad. As this conversation goes on, everybody's going to learn really quick that I am bad with actually getting the technical data down. That's why I rely on YouTube a lot.
Well, I would say that after watching it perform, though, with this setup, that Mr. Hollow Point 55 grain, once you got it in motion, its rate of decay was not as fast as I expected.
No,
I thought it stayed on a curve a little flatter than I thought.
Yeah, it was screaming. I mean, we set this sucker up. I put the Agutech bipod on. I put the rock lock system that I designed and developed on there just for weight, stability, and to absorb some of the recoil. So I would only have to have one hand on gun at all times. And it actually outperformed my expectations.
Mine too.
Let's move on a little bit. Let's see. There we go. See? Ballistic Summit, Lucid Optics. This was us sighting in at 400.
Impact.
That's on the star range.
Nice shot.
You're running a tethered apparatus there. That's your tank, yeah?
Yeah, and it's not really, it's considered tethered, but what I'm doing is refilling each time, closing the valve.
Yeah, there's no active pressure in the line in terms of
gotcha.
like constantly flowing into the gun. He's just topping it up and closing it off, just not disconnecting the line.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
that was just to see at that altitude and elevation how much air I was using in comparison to what I was using at sea level, because what were we at up there? We were at
At the star range, you're about 6,800 feet. And the White Buffalo range, which is their silhouette range, they're about another 50 feet higher than that. And then we moved up to the ELR range, and you're substantially higher at that one. It's about 7,200 feet.
yeah, it's a lot. And another thing is I hate connecting and disconnecting with that Foster fitting, because you never know when you're going to blow an O-ring. And in typical ton fashion, I did forget to bring spares. Yeah. So I just left it tethered.
Well, on every shot, you'd top the gun off. So you were, what PSI every time you shot?
I was 36.25 ish.
Right, so consistent 36-25
Yeah.
in a
Now, the other-
desert environment.
Yeah.
Now, the interesting thing that I don't know if we have video of, and I don't think you're going to show it just based on the fact that you're jumping to 1123, is the day prior to this, we actually shot it out to 600.
Yeah,
but
that was at this range.
That was at the star range. So we got it kind of on steel at 4.
Yeah,
and
that
then,
was the 4 where we were shooting the coyote, and then there's a little target up here.
Yep.
That's at 4, but then we decided to play at 6, but me and you were goofing around so much I didn't record it.
Yeah, well, and plus, like the interesting part, the part that I find interesting anyway, is that I think you had the rail, that drooper rail, set up at like the second position at that point, which is either 40 or 50 MOA.
He did. He did not have it set up past the first notch.
Yeah, I hadn't adjusted it yet.
Yeah, so then, like, I think we had it relatively zeroed at 6. I think, if I'm remembering correctly.
Yeah, we were dead on. My zero was it was dead on at 6. My crosshairs were at 6.
Yeah,
you guys added 6.5 mils to get to 6.
Yeah. And then when we pushed out to 1123 and having adjusted the rail the night before out like fully to 120 MOA of compensation, what you can't see here is like Ton was aiming for 547 yard rams or whatever and hitting like, I don't know, like 300 yards or something. Like that's how much droop had all of a sudden been introduced into the situation, which was really, really funny. And trying to find it, like we were lucky we got splash on that range, and like, but the elevation was way off. The windage was dead the same.
Yeah,
and it was like once we saw that splash, it was good to go.
And this is the 4th shot.
This is called compensating for being blind, folks, in case you're wondering what he's doing there.
You can use your magnification zones to set them there.
They're done.
Well, this is 1,123 yards away. If he's on the White Buffalo now.
It's different direction downrange.
Yes, it is.
And Jason, how big is that target physically?
That buffalo is it's 140% of normal size, so it's a large target.
Nice.
But it's not incredibly large.
Dun dun dun
Right behind the
dun.
neck.
And he hammered that thing right in the neck.
That was right behind the neck. Yep. Nice job. Right there.
It's a long ways for an air gun, boys.
Wait,
Yeah.
you gotta see Tyler's title.
The screen's cutting it off. I just see voice of reason, which is pretty accurate.
That's so funny.
Let's see.
If Tyler's the voice of reason. I'm really scared what my title got put as.
Oh, it's not. Let me go.
Does that say my youngest as okay?
My youngest son, Levi's best friend.
There you go. That makes sense too.
Levi makes me. I tell Levi every night that I'm calling you to make sure you're going to bed.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, every night I'm supposed
Thank
to
you for
call.
not actually calling every night,
Yeah.
but I appreciate that.
Yeah, he's like, you better call Tyler and go to bed. I said, okay.
That's funny.
Yeah. I'm like, okay, I will. Yeah, so this is the drive up.
What are we doing, Tyler?
We are headed up to the ELR range, so you can stretch it out past 1,100 yards.
This will be way better with sound.
Going to attempt to shoot.
Now the Whittington Center is quite
as far
large.
as I
I
can
mean,
with the Texas
huge.
for range to range and range, it can be a mile or two between them.
But there's a bunch of people following behind us.
Yeah, having never been there before and just having like read about it, heard about it,
Here at the Whittington
it's a
Center.
really impressive place. I mean, there's probably not
We're
a
going
shooting
up on top of
activity that they
peak,
don't have a
shoot
setup
across
for
to
there.
Those peaks
Correct.
and across the valley.
And it's a specific range. It's not like they do combination ranges.
I don't know.
I mean,
how
they have some of those, but
we did
each
11
discipline has its own
23
spot.
yesterday. Texan 308.
Yeah.
And
you guys could hear this?
No.
We cannot.
gone that
Oh.
far.
I'm talking about how we shot the day
See how far
before,
we can take
and
it.
we're guessing on what's going to happen the next
Who
day.
knows?
I'll move it forward. This is where we had planned on shooting. This is the top of the range. We get up here, and this is where we had actually planned on shooting. That's the 1450. And when we got up there, it was dead still. And that's when I was talking to Jason and decided,
You didn't have any airflow.
no,
I asked you if you wanted to start out at the 1100 or 1450, and Dunn's response was, "Nah, fuck it, let's do it live." And we
Sounds
went right
right.
for it.
yeah, it was, let's just skip it and go for it. So,
I mean, dead still. There was not a breath of
yeah,
air.
there was
Yeah.
nothing going on up there. So,
Now, I just want it to be stated that on the left of the screen there, that's Paul. Now, Paul would have made this on the first shot,
He's a
like without
sandbagger.
question.
sandbagger right there.
Total sandbagger. He acts like he's clueless, doesn't have an idea what's going on, and then you get him behind a gun, and he is an idiot savant.
Yeah. Okay. And there's Jason's title.
Yep. My
Flathead
flathead
screwdriver.
screwdriver title.
Number letter guy. Because he talks in that weird language they both have to translate to me.
Yeah, I geek out with numbers.
Yeah. So in this is the first shot where you're explaining to me what we're doing. And I had asked for the range, and you gave me we had 2 or 3 people spotting with rangefinders,
How we feeling? What do you think?
and on our far left
I'm thinking
was
it's gonna be a hell of a poke.
2051. Right by us was 258, and the far end was, someone says, like 2060 something.
And that range goes all the way up to the top of that hill.
Yeah,
And
which,
let's be real. This is where they hold the king of 2 miles.
yeah, the target is, oh, I'm still blind. I even out here.
Come down a little bit, little to the right with your cursor. I think it's just below that,
right there.
There.
in that clearing. Yeah.
It's there somewhere.
And it's 3 feet square. I mean, under magnification, it's a very clear, obvious target.
Yeah, looking at it on Tun's phone, because his phone had way better magnification than
Hey,
mine
there
does.
it is.
Yeah, there you go. It looks like a white dot at 12x. I mean, it's not anything substantial when you look at it.
And it was nice because they had just painted them, which was really nice.
It was also really nice because they gave you a good impact zone around it for low shots.
Yeah, they cleaned it up since the last time.
Yeah.
A lot.
There are some of those targets on that range that do not have impact zones.
No.
And if you're in the trees near it, you have no idea.
Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna
And
try this with an air gun now.
this is where we're taking
Same
off on
yesterday.
this is the first shot.
Now you got that fancy rear rest there sitting next to you. Did you even use it?
Not on this one because I needed more elevation.
Oh, I wouldn't go low enough. I got you.
No. And on this shot, this is
Hey, you're in the trees. So there's a dead tree.
Now, if I'm not mistaken, that shot you were very low in the trees.
yeah,
in front of
you said,
You see there's
because when that one went off,
below it,
I ended down in the rocky outcrop you called.
that tree just right there. You were probably right.
So you said I landed in the rocky outcrop,
Fall into that.
and there was a burnt
Below
tree
it,
that
all
was
the way down
taller than the rest.
You're another
Yep.
And that's when I had to use
I got an
the
idea.
scope to actually punch in and measure the height of that burned out
But I
tree.
got an idea.
Mhm.
I know a hold.
And I had to take that measurement. I had to punch in and get
I'm not gonna be able to see the
find
target,
2 lines on the scope and
but
measure
I got a hold.
that and go up and measure that distance
see
to
the
go
target anyway.
above the scope, above the target to get my elevation.
Now you're using a hold that's down in the field of view towards the bottom.
Air gun here.
Yeah,
That
I
is
was
state-of-the-art. We have an optic that is state of the art.
the target wasn't even in my reticle at all.
Got
So-
the edge of the field of view probably tops.
Somewhere the impact
Yeah,
is.
so
See a rock outcropping right in front of it in the scope.
so then just jump forward a little bit.
And it should be noted that Jason and I, like, we were back and forth on how much hold we thought it would be. We were both wrong by quite a bit.
Yeah, by almost double for what I thought.
Yeah. I think you were at, once we had maxed out the scope, what, like
Yeah.
16 or 18, somewhere in there, and I thought it was like 20 or something like that.
That's
Yeah, we were in the 40, 50 range.
so it was just
Yeah,
off
which
the
is
left
just
repair.
nuts. I mean,
To my defense, I come from the powder burner world, so I was completely out of my element.
All right,
Yeah.
I got an idea.
Yeah, this is where I just got the measurement,
I want to need everybody's eyes on this.
and
one,
this is
'cause
the
gonna
second
be-
shot.
So if that
Which
is
you dropped
how
so
far
close to the
forward
steel.
more. So if
This
that's
is the
not
second
there,
one.
I know where I'm going.
And you dropped that right there on the left hand, I mean the right hand side, about
Ready?
3 o'clock.
Spot on.
This is the
Sending.
It's
that one hits right here.
You understand? There's a delay, and it's not a video issue.
You're still shading
There's
it
about
out.
a 7.5 second delay on the video, but that's actually real. There's a 7.5, almost 8 second flight path here.
Yeah,
20 more feet.
yeah. This was that shot again, and this it lands in here. This is the green bush. There it is.
This was the
And-
moment that I realized that you were going to do it.
well, so you see Jason turn around right there. If I'm recalling correctly, I'm standing right behind Todd,
You
so
are.
you can't see me. And Jason comes over and he goes, "He's going to do it," and I'm like, "Yeah, fuck yeah."
Well, I mean, he was a couple feet from actually doing it the last shot. So we all know it's in the realm of possibility at this point.
Yeah,
Yep.
there's the top of Tyler's head right there, and you can actually hear it on my side. You two talking and saying, "He's gonna do it." You're like, "Fuck
Okay.
yeah!" In my head, I'm
I
like,
Got an idea.
"Oh dear God, I got to do this."
I think I said something to the effect of, "Now we see
Usually
how
puts me in the
consistent this
hospital, but
is."
this time I'm
Yeah.
Because that's
Yeah,
the big
you
question
did.
mark. I mean, having messed with like shooting pellets at 300-400 yards, you get a little gust of wind and it's gone. But this is a whole other ball of wax, in terms of just what's happening downrange.
I'm still shooting.
Yeah, because that's what you guys just said. You're like,
If
"Yeah, let's see how consistent this is." I'm like, "Oh
if this is a target,
Now you just
I'm hitting
deep seated
this
that
side
projectile.
yeah."
of the target, and I'm shooting left or right of it.
At this point, I'm getting like, "Uh-oh." Okay, and I'm asking you here because I am not seeing the target. I'm not seeing where the projectile is landing. I'm having to ask you. I'm having to come down out of the mountain and out of the sky and find where the projectile's hitting. And
Yeah,
have
you're asking me for a reference call at this point.
yeah, because I'm like, okay, I found the bush. Where at on the bush, or where close is it hitting? And you're explaining to me where it's at because I'm taking that measurement and going up and I have a reference point of the trees up top, and I'm literally picking. If I was at the center of the scope, I'd be in the sky. So when I looked at the bottom of the bell, I've picked out treetops that are at the bottom of the bell, and I'm holding on them, and I have to move up and down and left and right according to the branches and the sun that's peeking over the top of the ridge where I'm holding, and hopefully the sun's not moving too quick.
And it should also be noted that Paul is just looking at Ton right now going, you just hold 60 MOA and get it done, dude. What's wrong with you?
That is exactly what's going through his head.
I'm sorry, it says 60 mils.
Yeah, 60 mils.
And you guys and your fancy number letters drives me nuts.
That's actually what makes you making this shot so much of a magical thing, Todd, because you're doing it with a piece of gear that's custom, obviously, but you know, if you're doing this, somebody gets behind the gun and something like this, they can do it too, probably.
Yeah.
Guys like us overthink it and make it harder than it should be.
Yeah.
And you can hear the people in the background trying to shoot the 1450, and someone just says miss with their center fire.
Yeah, that guy's shooting a 6.5 Creed, and he was struggling.
Okay, that's shot number 3.
You were so close.
Yeah, and on this one,
3 o'clock directly right.
right there. It's and right in the dirt, left quarter in the dirt. You're at the target.
Now,
That one answered the consistency.
At this point,
Yeah.
so tiny, because the minuscule piece of angle at the shooter point at this point is so small.
Oh my God, it's driving me nuts. And that's where I was ecstatic to have that Donnie buttstock on, because it kind of grips over the top. If you look right there, it grips over the top of your shoulder onto my shirt, so I can move just barely lifting my shoulder, and I can get that fine adjustment.
Now, Ton, I think Jason referenced it real quickly, noticing that you were really deeply seeding the slug into the barrel. What speed were you running at? Because what makes this even more incredible is going into this, we had no idea how fast the gun was shooting.
Yeah, because someone didn't run it over the chronograph before they left, or when they got there.
If we didn't have so many people there, nobody'd believe this ever happened.
Yeah,
right.
To say the least, it was a bit of a cluster. Yes, I was due to get a chronograph and it didn't show. So Jason brought out his, because I wanted to get a portable one, and then Jason brought out his, and things got a little bit carried away, and we didn't chronograph it. And then I think you both asked me on the day, what's this thing running?
We just wanted to do some math.
Would have made it a lot easier.
And I think my exact answer was, hell if I know.
But when you did chronograph it.
Oh, if I don't deep seed it, if I just drop it in and just seed it regularly, I'm running around 966. If I seed it, deep seed it like I'm doing now, I'm running right around 1,000. I ran 20 rounds through it. And if I seed it regularly, I'm 966 consecutively. If I deep seed them and bury that slug in, and I have them all sized, because I will tell the other story about the great ammo problem I had. I was getting 1,000 to 1,020 feet per second.
And
But I
that's at
had
almost sea level.
yes,
Okay.
but I had 2 bags of ammo. Uh, and I had sized them, and there were 308 fives, which they're sized at 309, which is 308.5, 10,000s, and then 308, which is 307 and 5 10,000s, because I'd sized them down a half thou. The bag blew up all over the bag of my bottom of my gun bag, as Tyler and I had found out.
It was good. It was good.
And we're grabbing ammo and dumping them back into, you see these bags right here, what looked shiny and what didn't look shiny, but lead oxidizes fairly quick in moisture and everything else. So yeah, so that's also a factor. So they were running right around 1,000 feet per second.
Okay. Probably a little hotter than that in your elevation change.
Yeah. So it's a typical ton show. Huh, Tyler? Jason?
Yes. It's a very typical ton show.
Par for the course. Just hold on for the ride. Yeah. But the average speed is 966 if you don't deep seat them. If you do deep seat them, you're between 1,000 and 1,023 on 155 grain Mr. Hollow Point Spitzer. Okay, that is shot number
That was
3.
4.
That was 3.
It was 3.
I think there may have been one that we missed in here somewhere, or no?
Let's see.
Not
we did
in here physically. Maybe that wasn't filmed, rather. I thought it was 5 total.
That's what I was thinking. But when I went back through, let's take this through real quick.
I thought the Buffalo was 4 and this was 5.
That's what I thought. Then, because this is the beginning, we sit down, and this is the what point's a good idea. And I could have sworn it was 5 shots.
So did we have it backwards? The Buffalo was 5. This was 4?
No, the Buffalo was 4 also.
Huh.
And this
Tyler,
is
I'm like you. That was my memory of it all.
I thought maybe there was one that we had no joy on or something.
And this is the very first shot. And that's what I was going through. First shot, tree. That's in the tree. And then that's me going up to look at the tree. Second shot. Right there in the bush. That's 2.
And that's where I walk away and talk to Tyler. Yeah.
Yeah.
Getting a reference call.
Guy missing the 1450 shot. I hear that in the background. I'm not going to mention any names till later, till next summit.
There's 3.
That's 3.
You were close.
Left corner in the dirt.
That's wild.
That's left corner in the dirt. New mark on steel.
That will be 4.
Well,
Okay, for those that
Now,
want to see the mark,
This mark on steel,
3 o'clock.
it was not enough energy to actually take paint off, but it was definitely a new mark on steel. And I had a couple other spotters confirm that while we were standing there.
Yeah, you'll see everybody come
2000 with an air rifle with a 308.
Centered up 3 o'clock. See the gray mark? Yep. There it is.
You did it, Ton.
yeah. Madness.
2000.
and it was
So, Rob, when the tears stop coming out
That is
of the
fucking
eyes,
beautiful.
Big man's letting me emotional. Look at you go.
there.
I got the shot. I
anybody
got
that
the
ever wants to say air guns are...
That's pretty crazy. I just still like having been there. It's just
How many mils down
wild.
there?
Yeah, just for reference on the distance there, it is.
That was 4th, 5th shot?
We were trying to figure out if it was 4th or 5th right here.
Right dead center. Top.
Yep. Actually, Ton, you should when that zooms in, go back a few seconds. Let's talk real quick about where you were holding on that,
Oh God!
because that's a
That's
great
good.
shot to reference it. Because so Ton left the gun set up there where he was aiming. Keep going in a little bit. I think you got to go forward. Yeah. So like right there, stop. Okay. So the target's in like the top third of the screen,
The target's
right there.
yeah.
So when I looked through the scope where Ton had left it, he's aiming over the top of the hill or the mountain, and like the very bottom of your view is like the top of the trees.
Yeah, it's that tree right there because I was started over here and I end up on this tree right here. And I'm looking at, there was 2 or 3 branches. That's what I'm holding on the one that he said hit bush. So I had to move it to this tree. And I have this tree in the scope and I'm hugging the right side of this tree to make it. I have the post, the center crosshair and the tree right here. So what I can do is bring it down and hit. So I have to have, I'm at the very bottom of the bell of the scope, and all I can see is here's the post, here's the top of the tree, and I'm trying to make sure that I have the right piece of pie of the tree limb in that corner of the bell of the scope.
Now, Tyler, you did some math on this. The arc of that projectile went how high?
So from where the scope and the rail put him zeroed at right around 300 feet in terms of drop. In total, if you count in the amount of compensation, both in the scope and the rail, it was like right around 780 feet, which is, to put that into perspective, the Great Pyramid of Giza is about that tall. He could have shot over the Great Pyramid of Giza, which is freaking ridiculous. Yeah. But I mean, you think about the angle of attack that projectile came in on, right? You know, like you said, it didn't even like take a mark. I think if I remember right, either you or Corrado's that was like that's a pencil mark. You
Yeah,
know,
so
in terms of
there's a gray spot where it hit, but the angle in which it came down at, there's like a pencil line leaving the bottom of that gray spot because the angle on it was so steep. The danger space on that probably couldn't have been 5, 6 feet.
It literally looked like almost an upside down teardrop.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'd ask what the BC on the projectile was, but I realized Ton wouldn't know. Because then I could tell you how much energy it hit with. But I got to figure it was, we were talking about it the other day, and I got to figure it was like not enough to penetrate skin.
Oh no,
No.
you probably could have caught it with a leather glove.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just unreal.
And BC on that projectile, a little bit of research, I think it's going to be in the high 300s on a G1.
Okay.
I guess I'll have to wait till we get together so you guys can figure that stuff out.
Well, we need to
I'll
talk to
do it.
Mr. Bullet or whatever the guy's name
Mr.
is.
Hollow Point.
Yeah, because I mean, as a projectile manufacturer, he should know that.
He just makes bullets. Yeah, and it's the funny part about this whole thing for me was this is not my first time up on that mountain. This is my second time with you. But probably my fourth or fifth time overall. But this is my first time being up on that mountain where it was eerily dead still.
That's why I wanted to get out early on that one. We left by 7.
And it was just a weird morning where typical morning for me, get out, have my morning cigar, and I get up on the mountain. I get out and the smoke was going straight up. I was like, oh, grabbed a little dirt, poured it out of my hand. It was like an hourglass going straight down, no swath of wind or nothing. And everybody was setting up to do that 1450, which we had planned on. That was the plan. And we were going to take baby steps. And I was like, no, let's go for it. It was just,
It was a good decision.
Yeah. Heck yeah.
Dead still.
Yeah. Jason, what'd you guess the BC at again?
Probably in the high 3s in a G1.
Okay. Let's just say 3.
I mean, it's going to be on the lower side due to its velocity. And I mean, it's a 155, 308 pill.
Yeah.
It's not going to have a great BC.
That seems way too high. The thing that this is spitting out.
I actually tried to figure it out, and yeah, numbers were hard.
Numbers were hard.
Shoes were on.
It might have been 50 or 60 foot-pounds if this is anywhere near right.
That's still that might have stung.
I could have taken a trash
50,
panda.
50 or 60 foot-pounds would that would hurt a lot and also penetrate skin. But at that angle, that would go in your shoulder and then out your back somewhere.
So that was actually the fourth shot because tree,
Yep.
bush, right in front of the target, the front left corner of the target, and then on target.
I got to ask the question, how much do you think terminal velocity on the angle of that helped?
Interesting. I hadn't really thought about it.
You sent it that high, it's coming down out of
Yeah.
order.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's got to play a pretty big factor there, right? Wow. You know, I no,
Just
I
asking the
really
question out
wow.
loud, right?
Yeah, no, I didn't even think about it, but yeah, I mean, you're hey, Ton, you should thank gravity. Well, you should also thank gravity for that fall you took the day before. But
Dude, epic fall. Gravity has been my best and worst friend my whole life.
yeah, that's nuts.
I have video of the fall if anybody wants to private message me and pay me for a copy.
I do too, yeah.
Yeah, and so do I. That's the dude. That is the most epic train wreck fall of my life. I was like, it was a pretty one. It was absolutely. I was like, oh man, it was. Oh, there goes my light. Oh,
Oh,
yep.
If
That's what,
you'd have been going any faster, you would have scorpioned. It was bad.
dude. Yeah, I was seconds away from a scorpion. It was oof. Yeah, I thought I had it here on my phone. It was brutal.
I will say one thing. So I got behind a 300 Win Mag and was shooting at the 1450 target. And I think I hit it like once in 15 shots or something. Like all the shots were in the ballpark. You know, if there were like 10 guys or maybe an elephant, I'd hit it every time, you know. But the little 3x3 target or whatever was just to put that into perspective, right? You're talking about another 600-ish yards closer, and it was a challenge with a 300 Win Mag.
And I some of that was not your fault, Tyler. I have that gun back, and that APF 300 mag, their carbine that they have, the scope was completely loose.
Really?
Yeah, so that's not your fault.
Okay. I mean, it was. I can only imagine it was probably very dirty as well from having been just completely run through over a couple days. But yeah, I was actually pleasantly surprised with it in terms of just being able to get in the ballpark that quickly at that kind of distance.
Yep.
You know, but yeah, I mean that certainly puts into perspective what Ton is doing here and just how absolutely incredible it is.
There's a lot of folks we've shared this with a little bit initially, and they can't wrap their head around it being possible.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we try to get Guinness Book involved, but they do not do anything with firearms or air guns anymore.
Which is so silly.
Yeah, we tried. I actually tried for almost a year, and I got denied twice because it has to do with air guns or firearms. So we decided to grab as many people as possible at an event that has a bunch of media as possible with people that will not cut you any slack. And you throw all that together and you have Ballistic Summit, because there is at Ballistic Summit, no one cuts anybody slack. I mean, hell, Rob Pincus is there. I'm there. And it is, friends or not, it's a tough crowd. You better have thick skin.
Yes. I got an angry message from Pincus after the fact because he had a video of me shooting that APF, that 300 Win Mag, and he had left his gun, his rifle that he brought out, on a bag, and the muzzle brake on that thing blew the gun over.
Oh shit.
And he's like, you knocked my goddamn gun over.
I got video of that. I think I sent it to him.
I was like, nice, awesome, yeah.
Yeah, it's some good stuff though.
I do think this means we have to do some kind of like King of 1 Mile with an air gun type of event.
So.
Like this is I feel like, you know, I've had a number of people comment that they're interested in doing something like this. And I mean, the Whittington Center is just the absolute perfect place for it.
Yeah.
At least that I know of, right? That's all set up and ready to go. And yeah, it could be something very, very cool.
Yeah, there's very few places that you can actually stretch the legs. I'd say Wyoming, but do they even have hotels there, bro?
Yeah, we could work it out as a backup plan. We've got plenty of places where we could host an event like that. It wouldn't be a problem. There are hotels, plenty of them.
That's a
Tell them
relief.
I'll stash you in a casino. How's that?
Perfect. I got plenty of pennies. Actually, you'll catch me out checking for fossils. I love Wyoming for that. Checking for opal and fossils. I love
There's
Wyoming.
lots of that. We have plenty.
And chasing prairie lice, as you call them,
Mm.
antelope. Oh, well,
Just
I
got
wanted.
done doing that this weekend.
That's right. We need to go visit you no matter what. Well, I want to thank you guys both for everything you've done, helped me out, because let's be realistic. I am probably the one of the most unprepared people, whether it comes to a shooting tournament, as Tyler knows, or a long range world record attempt. You guys helped me out more than you'll ever know, because those number letters and me still do not get along. I go by
I'm just happy to
redneck
be there and
windage.
be a part of it. It was
Yeah.
cool.
And
Yeah, it was awesome just to witness it, man. I mean, what you did is that nothing short of incredible.
now we just got to figure out what the next adventure is.
Who's the closest to you as far as next in line for second place?
So
Turk.
there's I
Oh.
think that Alteros guy. I think
Alteros.
there's I believe he's in the Czech Republic. Don't quote me on that.
Yeah.
But he has a shot at a mile, I believe, with a 22 slug gun.
All right.
Which is it's about a 10-second flight time from his videos, and it's unreal. I mean, I think there's a sweet spot somewhere in here, and it's going to take a little bit of barrel work probably to figure out where it needs to be, because like that 308 shooting a lighter slug, going a little bit faster, if you can get something that stabilizes through a supersonic to transonic to subsonic situation,
Yep.
you might have something that could stretch even further with a more reasonable trajectory. We'll call it that.
Yeah,
I
because
think it's going to be hard to do, but it could be, that could be the thing, or a 257.
yeah, because that guy, he did his 1 mile shot 6 days before I did mine.
Yeah, that came out right. Well, we don't know when he did it. I don't
Yeah.
think, but the video came out, yeah, about a week or so before.
Yeah.
You just stole his thunder, dude.
Yeah, and before that was Chris Turek with the 357 4 or 5 years ago at 1,250 yards.
Still a long shot with air, boys.
Yeah.
Oh, look, I sitting there on the star range plinking steel at 400 yards with pellets. I was like, I was pretty smitten with that. You know, you're talking about some of the trajectory at 400 or 500 yards is probably not that dissimilar from what Ton was doing at 2,000.
Yeah. Yeah. Let it
So
rainbow in.
Yeah. But it's cool just to have a place to do that. And I think I'm sure there are a lot of people that would be interested in such an event.
We're going to have to do something like that.
Yeah.
I'm
think
game.
so. Awesome.
Well, thanks again, guys. I'm going to put this up and see where it goes from there, because I got to start planning our next adventure.
Sounds good.
Yeah, man. Sounds great.
Yeah. Well, thank you. And I will torture you guys soon.
Very good. Thanks for having us.
Forward to it. Thanks, Ton.
I think I stopped recording.
You're still recording.
Fucking hell.